The U.S. Arab Radio Network is the largest Arab and Muslim radio network in America, broadcasting throughout the Midwest region Monday through Friday on WNZK AM 690. U.S. Arab Radio features Arabic and English language programming on every topic, from health, food, and culture to government, politics, and legal issues. Listen live to U.S. Arab Radio in Michigan, Toledo, Ohio, and Windsor, Canada on WNZK AM 690. And in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia on WDMV 700 AM. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. So join us every day on the U.S. Arab Radio Network and check out our website at www.arabradio.us.
This is Season 5, Episode 22 of Two Guys on Politics, broadcast on the U.S. Arab Radio Network on WNZK AM 690 radio, as well as on YouTube at twoguysonpolitics.com. I'm Ray Hanania with co-host, former Congressman Bill Lipinski. In today's episode of our video podcast, we discuss a number of topics. The sudden, shocking, and surprising passing of Senator Lindsey Graham, his politics and responses, and what impact that has on politics. We'll also talk about the Iran war and the economy, which I think Bill agrees is struggling a little bit. But we'll talk about some of the issues that the White House and the president has made about the economy and the war. In our second segment, we're going to talk a little bit about Illinois American Water and utility companies and the monopoly that they have over their services, and how it doesn't seem like they care about the people they serve. And we'll end it with a look at the politics shenanigans taking place in the 4th Congressional District, with Congressman Jesus Garcia doing everything he can to benefit his chief of staff, who he is supported to succeed him in that last-minute trick to keep everybody out of the election. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be on with Bill Lipinski, and we'll talk about all these issues. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Do you receive SNAP food assistance? When it's time to update your information, it's important to keep your information fresh and report any changes to your income, employment, family situation, or address. Life changes. Make sure your benefits keep up. Together, we can help keep food on the table. Learn more at michigan.gov/food assistance. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
When the aroma of Mahmoud Sela Basmati fills the air, you know it's going to be a good meal. Extra long pearly white grains that cook up fluffy, separate, and light. Never heavy, never sticky, just pure, fragrant perfection. It's the rice that feels as good as it tastes, gentle on the stomach and full of energy. Elevate your everyday. Ask for Mahmoud Basmati at your supermarket and taste the difference.
Lead is invisible, but the dangers are real. Michigan's blood lead testing law aims to help identify exposure to lead in young children. All children should be tested for lead at ages 1 and 2. If they've never been tested, they should get a test by age 6. To help your child stay healthy, talk to their doctor about a blood lead test or visit michigan.gov/myleadsafe. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you going to start a restaurant or a grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Najee Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Najee Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Najee Abood, 734-744-9796.
I'm Ray Hanania.
I'm Bill Lipinski, and the next voice you hear will not be the voice of America. But nevertheless, he is a very good friend of mine, Mr. Ray Hanania.
You're a good guy, Bill. Longtime congressman, former Chicago alderman, and Democratic committeeman. Nobody has better insight on Chicagoland and Illinois and even national politics than you do, Bill. And you're very tolerant, too, of minority views like mine and others. So I appreciate it. I just want you to know that.
Well, I'm glad you do appreciate it, because it is very difficult at times.
So you knew Senator Lindsey Graham, did you not?
I served with him in the House of Representatives for 4 years. That's long before he became famous. But I liked him. I got along with him very well. He was really a very friendly guy. He came to the House of Representatives with the plan to get involved in controversies and try to help solve the problem, try to help out America. And I think he continued that when he went to the Senate. Now, he had very strong views. I'm sure most of the views that he had were not exactly ones that you would jump up and down and support, because he was very supportive of Israel. And it seems like he was very supportive of Bibi Netanyahu, who I have problems with also. But I think he tried to do the best he could for his country and for his state, and I liked him. I'm sure you heard the rumors that existed about him for years and years, and I always felt that was irrelevant, because he did a job that I thought had to be done by some people in the Senate, and that job was to cross party lines and try to solve problems.
Yeah, I always liked Lindsey Graham. When he was a member of the House and then later as the Senate. In the beginning, and it's not about personality and people. I mean, I don't care what his personal life is. And yeah, I've heard all those rumors also. Although, as an aside, I think it's kind of hypocritical that we make an issue about things like that, but we don't talk about it in some cases. Now,
ironically, I just want to say, I think it's a mistake also that people do that. I think it's wrong that people do it. But I have found on researching this issue, it is more the people that resent him, not, as far as they're concerned, coming out and being truthful about the situation. Those are the ones who create more problems for individuals such as him. And I think that's a terrible mistake.
So all these rumors and stuff, I agree with you, are, his critics are going to make a big deal out of it and his supporters won't. But that's pretty normal with any kind of criticism, right? I mean, people like you, they're gonna ignore
Absolutely.
criticism, and if they don't like you, they're gonna push it. And I just want to say something about Lindsey Graham. I don't like. I always hesitate to criticize someone when they pass. I don't. It's sad that he passed away, and it was surprising. So I don't want people to think that if we talk about his politics, whether I agree or not, it has anything to do with him personally. I mean, obviously, I wish he had better health and he lived, and it was kind of a shock. Who was the other congressman or senator that they were talking about that disappeared for Mitch McConnell? He disappeared for like 4 to 6 weeks. He's the one I was worried about. And then Lindsey Graham just up and passes away like that. That was really a surprise to everybody.
Well, I guess he's had a heart situation for quite a long time, but no one ever revealed it. No one ever thought about it. And they say that he had an aorta that broke, and that's what caused his death. But it came on him because of his heart condition for a number of years, but no one ever knew it.
Yeah, and listen, as far as his politics, and I agreed. There was at a time when I'm a conservative Democrat. I mean, we live in a state that's pretty much Democratic, and where my family, as we've talked about before, we're really Republican. I mean, they were always Republican, and we became Democrats because the Republican Party just disintegrated in Northern Illinois and is disintegrating towards Southern Illinois in a wave there, too. So, you have no choice but to become a Democrat. So I'm a conservative Democrat like you, I think. Reagan Democrats, we call
I agree.
ourselves. And somebody like, Lindsey Graham, he was a very smart guy. The guy he's in office for I don't know how many terms because of his intelligence and his brains and his record. But in recent years, I got to say that he really has taken a turn for the worse. And it started with Trump. Because the thing about that I have that is really kind of ironic is his flip-flopping on Trump. The things that he said about Trump before the election, warning that I think he warned Republicans that nominating Trump for president was like, quote, being shot in the head. And in 2016, it was Graham who fiercely attacked Donald Trump, describing him as, quote, unfit for office and calling him. Now, this is the part that I think you can't just erase. A race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. These are like Marco Rubio's, calling Trump a con man. And then after Trump wins, they completely ignore their what I thought was genuine criticism and work with the guy for their own personal benefit. That's the kind of thing that bothered me the most.
The hypocrisy.
It's the hypocrisy of the length of a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. That's way beyond saying someone's a bad politician, right?
Yes, but I don't think you should equate Marco Rubio's posture with Trump with the same posture that Lindsey Graham had. Marco Rubio's criticism was much, much more mild.
Well, yeah, it was mild. He was tame. He definitely was tame. He said that he was a con.
That just goes to show you that Lindsey Graham, in the end, was really much more interested in power. And when you're in the U.S. Senate, how do you get more power? By being close to the president. And he took advantage of the president's, one of his many fables, that someone who's against him and then comes and turns for him. Oh, he thinks he's just fantastic. They got to be golfing buddies, dinner buddies. So Lindsey got what he wanted, the ear of the president, the ability to influence the president, and the ability to play a role in so many international affairs. I don't agree with that. I would never do it, but to each his own.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, certainly I don't believe you ever would do that too. I mean, there is a way to get the president's respect and attention without just flip-flopping the way Lindsey Graham did. He could have come up with some ideas and convinced the president you need to do this without calling him names. See, I viewed that as name calling. And name calling is something that some politicians resort to when they can't address the issues. And I think that reflected Lindsey Graham's shock that this outsider, who was a Democrat, Donald Trump, suddenly was taking over the Republican Party, or at the time was threatening to take over the Republican Party by being in the Republican presidential primary, and eventually did take over. And to me, that was a flaw that Lindsey Graham had. Instead of going down the right road that he did for many years, maybe at age or whatever it got to him or whatever it was, he really kind of resorted to something that I disagree with. And it's the one thing that I criticize him about when he addresses the Middle East politics. I don't think he's really addressing the facts of the Middle East conflict. He was addressing the personality of the Middle East conflict. And that's what bothers me. I think that's hypocritical. He's not supporting Israel because it's a factual basis. He's supporting Israel because it's a personal thing with him. And I think that he's put that interest, he did at the time anyway, above the interests of his responsibility to the American people. That's my big criticism of him. And like I said, I'm sorry he passed away. I would love to have had a debate with him, to bring him on here and talk to him about things like that. But I think he felt he was way above, the American people, given all the time that he spent in the House and then the length in the Senate.
Now, when do I get an opportunity to rebut this in behalf of BB
Netanyahu? Yeah, you're like a typical Republican, Bill. When someone says something, you go, "Oh, I'm dominating and control." I'm not dominating. We're having a discussion here. I just gave you my opinion, and I listened to you. So go ahead, Bill. I want to hear what your response is in defense of.
Here's the first thing I want to say to you: if Lindsey Graham had ever said those things about you, and you were in a position to do something for him or be his friend, do you think you would have been capable of doing that?
You mean like if he criticized me and then I turned around and became his friend?
Yeah, do you think you could do that?
I would have a hard time because I would have a hard time, honestly, Bill. Because I wouldn't trust somebody. If I said you were a terrible politician, you were a crook, blah, 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 or whatever, and then we became friends because I needed your friendship, would you accept that type of friendship yourself? Yeah.
But and if Lindsey Graham had said that about me, what he said about Trump, no, I could never forgive him. That was totally beyond the pale. If he simply said, "I don't like the guy, I disagree with him in the position he takes on issues, I'm not going to support him," fine, okay. Then we can reconcile. Right. Both sides want to reconcile. But not when he said things like that. Now, on the other hand, I personally think that he did a lot of good for this country, and he was on the right side on vast majority of the issues. You and I would disagree upon that, okay?
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah. I'll let it go. It may be fine. But, we have to somehow find, people who can work both sides, who can listen to both sides, and make objective evaluations of situations without resorting to outlandish charges that he made against Trump. That's really what I'm saying.
Well, I think rather than putting it on the people responding to Lindsey Graham's outrageous charges, how about put it on people like Lindsey Graham? Because instead of saying those things, I agree with you. I didn't agree with that stuff. I mean, maybe I do agree with it, but the real issue is the one that impacts the voters. Why didn't he just say that if you elect Trump, he's not a real Republican, he's going to lead the Republican down the tubes and into turmoil, and he may personalize this into a reality TV show that is not good for America? I could have lived with that criticism, and I think that that's what prompted Lindsey Graham's personal comments about him, about being, the xenophobic, religious bigot, race-baiting bigot. That really takes it to an extreme, in my opinion.
Would you like to read that again? I'm not so sure the people got that. It's only the fourth or fifth time you managed to do it.
Well, he said it. I didn't say it.
Somehow you said something about the people. I'm not blaming the people at all. I blame Lindsey Graham for saying those kind of things. Yeah. And I think it was wrong, and I'm very sorry about it. But even a person who can say some despicable things like that, I believe, can still do some good for their country and for their state.
Well, don't we have a right to criticize our elected officials? I mean, isn't criticism part of the foundation of democracy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he should, and so why take criticism to an extreme like that is what I'm saying. You could criticize somebody, you and I could criticize each other and be friends and still disagree on issues. But I would never criticize you personally because it would be disrespectful, not just to you, but to what I represent, to go to that level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what he did.
I would never criticize you on personal grounds because
Right.
I
No,
like
I know that.
you're a friend of mine. Now, I will criticize you strongly when I disagree with you on a particular issue. Okay,
Yeah.
and I think that's the way it should be. And that's
Yes.
the way politics once upon a time were, but they no longer are. And somehow we want to find a way to get past that. Let me ask you the question. What do you think about his sister being appointed to his position?
Well, I mean, that usually is a typical political thing that we see happen. A relative is appointed. I'm not sure because it's a celebrity appointment. The husband, the one, what was he, congressman down in Detroit, the wife ended up taking his place, and she ended up doing really well. But sometimes these wives, I mean, you know, your wife was very involved in politics when you were an alderman and also a congressman. Um, if God forbid something happened to you, Bill, and they had appointed Rosemarie at the time to take your place, I would have said, you know what, she has the experience and the knowledge to do that based on her involvement in it. I don't know enough about Lindsey Graham's wife to know, was she involved or is it just
That
a
was his,
placeholder?
that was his sister. She's
I'm
involved.
sorry, sister.
She's involved in state government, but she also acted sort of as a liaison between his office and the state. Now, she's only been appointed for his unexpired term.
Right.
And I believe that she has said she's not going to run for a full 6-year term. I frankly don't see anything wrong with that whatsoever. Now, the
Right.
woman I think you're talking about in Michigan is Debbie Dingell.
Yes, that's who it
John
was.
Dingell, yeah. Well, Debbie
Yeah.
Dingell was her husband's chief of staff for about 25 years.
She was really involved, right?
She was chief of staff for at least 10 years before the two of them got married. I know Debbie Dingell. I like her. I think she's very well qualified for the job. And I got along with John Dingell very well.
Yes.
He could be a very arrogant SOB, but he was of Polish heritage and he liked people of Polish heritage. So he never had a problem with me.
Well,
Facts.
they call that type of appointment as chief of staff nepotism. Okay. And nepotism does have some basis in terms of being legitimate criticism, but I agree with you. She turned out to be a great congresswoman. And I see her being a good leader. So, in a lot of times things turn out well, sometimes they don't. With the sister of Senator Lindsey Graham, I don't know her. And I agree that I think they just want to put her name up there. Is her last name the same?
Yes.
Or so she wasn't married, or she still
No,
goes
I think
by
she is married, but I think she uses her
the Graham name.
his name is her middle name.
Yeah, so it's a way of
The thing-
continuing his popularity, I think, right, in political.
Well, I think it's a way of simply holding the seat, and the governor doesn't have to make a decision on who he's going to support in the general election for the 6-year term. That way, whoever wins it, he can be friendly with. Okay.
Now, I don't have the name of the Democrat who was running against him, but I did see the numbers, and she came pretty close in terms of voter turnout in the Democratic primary, similar to what Lindsey Graham got in his Republican primary. I think there were like 20,000 votes difference between the two. And to me, that was a little surprising. With him gone, it looks like she has a shot, at, really kind of taking that seat away.
I wouldn't put any money on it. She had a very competitive race to win the nomination. Nobody ran against Lindsey Graham.
I think there's
really no competition, against him, where there was a lot of competition against her. But I want to get back to nepotism just for a minute.
Sure,
how hypocritical people can be in politics.
Yeah.
The Democrats so often today get so upset and they talk about nepotism. To me, the greatest act of nepotism in the history of the United States of America was when St. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, appointed his brother Bobby Attorney General. Right. Yes. I mean,
Yes, and listen, wasn't it the late Mayor Richard J. Daley that said that if you can't appoint your son, who can you appoint, or something to that effect when he
he
was
said,
mayor?
if you can't help your sons, who can you help?
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen, nepotism is just a label.
Right.
And there's variety in nepotism, justified and legitimate nepotism. I don't think, like if I am a journalist, my son wanted to get in communications. That's kind of a form of nepotism. I think
Yes,
it's great that he wanted to do what I wanted to do.
I agree.
And if you're in politics and your son wanted to be like you, there's nothing absolutely wrong with it whatsoever. It's just that in some circumstances where they push aside everybody to put people in, that's when nepotism becomes a problem. And I don't know if there are examples of that with Lindsey Graham or not. So I don't see that, but I just pointed out that that's what they would call it. By the way, that woman that I was talking about, the Democratic candidate, is Charleston pediatrician, Dr. Annie Andrews. And I was
Yes.
going to ask you, you're right. I mean, if Lindsey Graham were alive today and she were in the race in November against him, Lindsey Graham would definitely win that seat.
Correct.
Now that he's gone, though, doesn't it elevate the chances that she could win and take that seat?
Yeah, yes, it does, Ray, but it's a very, very Republican state.
Mhm.
And I just do not see. Well, now, if the Republicans nominate for the full 6-year term some wacko, well,
Right.
then she's got a shot. But if they nominate a normal Republican candidate who supports normal Republican principles, no, I believe the Republican will win and win in a walk.
Yeah, and one of the problems is with a sudden death like this is that in a sudden death, there's no planning, so it's like up for grabs. Anybody could
Sure.
become the candidate, including a weak candidate. But if he were planning to step down, I think that there might have been some more thought given to who was going to take his place. And I would say, yeah, he's probably, whoever takes his place is going to hold that seat. I just think that she has a chance this time, Annie Andrews, given the mood of the country against the Trump Republicans and what he's done. I think it's a much deeper wound than is being that Trump is trying to respond to it, saying it's not that bad, we'll be okay. But I think it's terrible. I think it's really bad. It's going to hurt him. And we were going to talk about the Iran war, and instead of carrying that into the second segment, all I want to say about the Iran war is it flip-flops every week. So whatever I say today, it's not going to have any meaning tomorrow, and it'll change. This war has gone back and forth like a ping pong ball. I think it's damaging to our country. Not the goal of taking out the Ayatollahs and these crazy mullahs. I don't think that's the goal. I think the impact has been very negative on us, and it hasn't been managed properly. And I think it's doing us damage. And I'm concerned about it, but I have no idea what's going to happen with that war. This is all politics being manipulated by Trump.
Well, I can't disagree with that. I'm much stronger for the war and getting rid of the regime than you perhaps are. I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I agree with you. The war by Israel, Netanyahu, and by the United States of America has been conducted very, very poorly. Once we got in it, we shouldn't have had any hesitation to, whatever the cost was going to be, take out that leadership, get rid of them once and for all. That's why we said we went to war, to get rid of them, because they've been after us for 47 years. Okay? Well, it's been very poor. And I agree with you. Right now, we're on the offensive. We're attacking them every night. We're blocking their ports. Who knows? Next week, Trump might be sitting down with whoever the new leader is in Tehran and saying, he's not such a bad guy. Maybe we can work this out. Gets a little disappointing.
Yeah, it's hard to undermine reckless leadership when the leadership we have is reckless. So We'll see what happens. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we can talk about some of the local issues that we were going to discuss. We'll be right back right after these messages.
A car accident can change your life in an instant. As a result of a car accident, you may become unemployed. As a result of a car accident, you may need a lot of medical treatment. People think that insurance companies are on their side. Why? Because they're giving them one or two benefits. Are they giving them all the benefits they deserve? How would one know unless you consult with an attorney? Call the law offices of Jumana Kiruz at 248-557-3645. 248-557-3645.
$60,000 orphans in Gaza. There's a child dreaming tonight, holding on to a little light, waiting for someone to care, waiting to know someone's there. One small gift, one open heart can help a brand new future start. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, 60,000 dreams to save. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, don't look away, don't look away. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, waiting for hope today. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, be the change, be the change. Be the change. A little love can go so far, a little hope can heal the scars. What you give today can shine in a child's life for all time. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, 60,000 dreams to save. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, don't look away, don't look away. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, 60,000 dreams to save. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, don't look away. Sponsor an orphan today, through life for relief and development. Where there is life, there is hope. Sponsor an orphan today. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, 60,000 orphans in Gaza, don't look away, don't look away. 60,000 orphans in Gaza, 60,000 orphans in Gaza. 60,000 orphans in Gaza.
Please help improve these efforts. Learn more about our involvement to help the helpless and bring hope where it's needed most, and make your tax-deductible donation to Life for Relief and Development now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. That's 248-424-7493.
Want to stay in the driver's seat of your health? My Mobile Health units remove barriers to getting prevention healthcare services. My Mobile Health brings free or low-cost services to local communities, so you can easily access health screenings, lab tests, vaccines, guidance, and more. We're paving the way to better health. See when and where we're rolling into your community at michigan.gov/mobilehealth. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Tired of the complexities of immigration? Haunted by the threat of deportation? Struggling to reunite with your family? Have you ever dreamed of living and working legally in America but don't know where to start? L. Sharnoby and Associates Law Firm, a leader in immigration and naturalization law, offers you legal support across the United States. We specialize in asylum, deportation defense, green cards and citizenship, family reunification, all types of immigration visas. Don't wait any longer. Contact us today and let our expertise lead you toward a secure and stable future. To schedule a consultation, call us at 313-581-9666. That's 313-581-9666.
And welcome back to Two Guys on Politics. I'm Ray Hanania.
I'm Bill Lipinski, and as Ray just said, this is Two Guys on Politics.
And we're talking about, Bill, there was a hearing last night, and this is Wednesday that we're taping, in Bolingbrook by the Illinois Commerce Commission to hear the views of the public on another rate increase that was introduced by Illinois American Water, which is a subsidiary of American Water, which provides water to most of the state of Illinois, mostly outside of Chicago and Cook County. Their water costs 4 to 5 times more than what you and I pay for water in the area where we live. In fact, I think that even outside of Cook County, there's some areas that are not served by Illinois American Water. But Illinois American Water is a symbol of the problem with utilities. Their parent company logged a net profit of $1 billion last year, $1 billion the year before. They're actually generating profits above and beyond paying the employees, providing the service, and paying their administrative staff. Their CEOs and administrators are making $2 to $3 million in salaries and benefits. And every 2 years, they come in and ask for a maybe $100 or $200 million rate hike that has pushed the price of water so high that when I went to that Bolingbrook hearing last night, that was hosted by the Illinois Commerce Commission and called by the Illinois Commerce Commission, there were maybe 50, 60 people, seniors mainly, who said, I can't take a bath every day anymore because it's too expensive. We can't wash our dishes anymore or wash our clothes as often as we would want to. And we are having trouble even cooking because the water has a terrible taste to it. And now they want to increase the water. It was so horrible to hear these people talk about what they're going through. And the hearing was so that the Illinois Commerce Commission would hear the complaints and then decide whether they should approve the latest increase that Illinois American Water wants to impose. The problem was...
Wait, let me ask you a question.
Yes,
where do
sir.
they get their supply of water from?
It comes from the city of Chicago through intermediaries like Oak Lawn, Bedford Park. I mean,
Okay.
Those are not the problems. Those areas, these intermediary stations that move the water are not the problem. It's once it gets to Illinois American Water, they then control the price of the water, and they break it down into like 50 different things. I mean, when you look at an Illinois American Water bill, it's like a math course trying to figure out what are they doing. The end result is there are some people that are paying $200 to $300 a month just for water. And Illinois American Water, if you never turned on the tap at your house, all right, you would still pay $100 just to have that service, even if you never use the water. To me, it's a problem. And there's no alternative. There's no competition. It's a monopoly. And worse, and the final thing, and I don't mean to dominate this conversation, Bill, but I want to give you the basis for it. There are 5 members of the Illinois Commerce Commission. They each get paid $200,000 a year. They're appointed by the governor, all 5 of them appointed by Governor Pritzker. I don't have their names because they never show up to any of the meetings. They were not at the meetings last night. Instead, they paid an administrative judge to listen to these people and then give them a summary report. So the Illinois Commerce Commission never hears the pain that these people are going through, and yet they're the ones that are going to make the decision on whether the increase should go through or not. It's just a bad
Unfortunately,
system.
we've had trouble with in the state of Illinois for a long time. Whether the Democrats were in power or the Republicans were in power, people have complained about these utilities that are monopolies that frankly do whatever they want to do, and they usually do it for their own benefit and for their own salaries. The only way to change this, though, Ray, and I don't really know what the solution is, but we would have to get the legislature to change the whole process and get the governor on board to do so. Now, Pat Quinn was an individual who was very much interested in this. And I would suggest, that maybe we try to get Pat Quinn on and he could talk to us, and he probably would have some ideas on how this situation could be turned around. Now, I'm not the greatest fan of Pat's, okay, because
I'm
of
not
some of
either.
the things he's tried to do over the course of the years. Okay,
I'm like
but
you.
he usually knows his way around this stuff. And, I think this is a serious problem. And nowadays, when people are hurting so much with the price of food, the price of gas, if we could help them on a utility bill, I think it would really be very good for all citizens of Illinois. I mean, how expensive can that water get to be when you take it out of Lake Michigan? It's free in Lake Michigan.
Yes.
You could go down there with a cup and keep scooping it out with the cup. Wouldn't cost you a penny. Now I realize that's not realistic. But the point is, I think it seems like they're charging you for an entity that is free in the first place. Now I realize you got to pump it out. You got to transport it. That all costs money. But
Right.
It seems to me that there's never been a true investigation of what the real costs are. And this is not only for water. I think this is for gas. I think this is for electricity also. Whoever had the idea of establishing monopolies for the benefit of the general public a long time ago, I'm sure thought they were doing the right thing, but I'm afraid it hasn't quite worked out that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. One of the problems is the fact that, one, it's a monopoly, and two, though it's the ICC doesn't do it, in my opinion, doesn't do its job. They should have been at the hearing. They get paid money
Absolutely.
and benefits. They should have been there. They've never been to these public hearings. And one of their excuses was, well, it would be a violation of the Open Meetings Act. And I said, how could that be a violation? You called the meeting 6 weeks ago. You set the meeting. You should be there. So I think that they continue to make excuses about what they should do and what they should not do. And it really bothers me. The other point is that it's not the delivery of the water until it gets past the Oak Lawn, Bedford Park, and these other places. You got to pay for the amount of pipes and everything, obviously the maintenance and things. But the cost, once it gets past that and into the hands of Illinois American Water, the cost increases almost 5 to 10 times. And this is run by a company that is buying up all the other water utilities. Illinois American Water just bought up Aqua Illinois and Aqua America, which is another one of these very expensive water services in western counties in northern Illinois and in southern Illinois. It's just terrible, with what they're doing, and they're unresponsive. My suggestion, Bill, and I wonder if we mentioned this, I think, once before, but I think they should be nationalized in the sense that government should take over these companies. They should eliminate or at least prevent a utility company from showing a net profit. They should generate the money they need to cover their costs, and they should also limit the salaries of these executives. Nobody should be at a utility company making more than $300,000-$400,000 a year. I mean, I get it. The CEO, $400,000 or $500,000. It's a lot of work. I could get that, but not $2-3 million. This one company, $24 million for their top CEOs. They want $142 million in increases. This year, they made $900 million in profits. You want $142 million in increases? Take it out of your profits.
Well, I don't think it should be nationalized. I think what it should be is we should do away with these monopolies, and the state of Illinois, in our case, should run the water supply, the electric supply, the gas supply, okay?
Right.
Because then we can really pinpoint the responsibility on what the costs are, who is responsible for the costs, and we can vote these people out of office. Right now, these people are phantoms. But if it was done by the state of Illinois, now some people are going to complain, oh, you're going to create all these patronage jobs,
right,
for the state of Illinois. Well, we don't have too much patronage left at all. Those jobs could all be made civil service. The employees probably would not make as much money as they may very well make now with the monopolies. But to me, that's the way to go. Have the state government run all these services.
But I think that even if government took over and they created patronage jobs, it would still be far less than what Illinois American Water is charging these people. Their bills would be half the amount, even with all the problems that we often accuse government of doing when they run these things. But you're absolutely right. And I think that's where the problem is. The problem rests with Governor Pritzker and the Illinois Commerce Commission. They are not doing their job. And I think the Citizen Utility Board called Illinois American Water a rate hike machine. That's their goal. That's their purpose. And their profits show that. It's terrible. So, but we'll see more of that.
I don't want to just blame Pritzker and the Democrats, because it's been going on for years and years and years. Even when big governor for life, Big Bill Thompson
right,
was governor, it went on. And he used to campaign every 4 years against the utility companies. But every time he got into office, he never seemed to have the power to do much about it.
It's depressing, though, isn't it, that the officials that we need, I mean, we do blame Illinois American Water, but all they're doing is taking advantage of a system where nobody really holds their feet to the fire at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is the problem. So maybe you're right. I mean, something needs to be done in the legislature. But the other point is Illinois American Water has a huge political donation trail that go, and what do the people have? They can barely pay their water bills. How are they going to donate money to the PAC?
Our legislators permitted to invest in this water company?
I don't know, but they do have stockholders in that water company, and I think they do that with all the utilities. This is a very complicated area, I think, for anybody to really truly understand. And they do. Illinois American Water did basically say that they do hand out profits to their stockholders, and I'm thinking, who's the really important stockholders? It's you and me, not the people that invest in the company to exploit the homeowners and the taxpayers. It really is a sad situation.
Are there any more meetings coming up like this in the future?
No, and that's the problem. The way it's set up, every 2 years, the utility companies like Illinois American Water can propose an increase. It then takes a year before they actually review it. It gets to a public hearing 6 months later. And this hearing that we had yesterday in Bolingbrook, we won't hear anything for 6 months about it from the Illinois Commerce Commission. So by the time it's almost like rigged so that the emotion and anger dissipates before they slam you with the increases. The whole system really needs to be changed. And it's disappointing that it's not. So. All right, Bill, we got a couple minutes left, maybe about 5 minutes, to talk about the 4th Congressional District, where a friend of ours, Chris Getty, is running.
Yes, he is.
There's several. He's the mayor of Lyons, and there are 3 other Hispanics. One of them is Patty Garcia, who is the rigged candidate that was pushed in by suddenly retiring Congressman Jesus Chuy Garcia, and then Alderman Sigcho Lopez is in it, and a woman named Mayra Macias, who filed petitions and is Hispanic, very popular. And she collected, I think, something like almost 11,000 signatures. As independents. The threshold to get on are just tremendous. But Garcia's staff orchestrated the petition challenge that went downstate to Springfield, and a Springfield judge threw her off the ballot, saying that 700 of your petitions were no good. And that was done by his new chief of staff that Congressman Garcia appointed. He was the principal in challenging those petitions. And Garcia still has the candidate who was his chief of staff, still getting paid as his chief of staff, who's running for Congress. I don't know, in the old days, Bill, when I was at City Hall, this would have made for 1,000,000 Mike Royko columns about what's wrong with politics, and something
Now,
that I
Ray,
would have written.
let me ask you one question here. Now, is this the Chuy Garcia that was the great reformer?
Yes.
Entire political career, he was always against the establishment, always against the system. He was always with the people. Let the people have a voice. Is this the same guy?
Yes, he rode that wave like Roy Rogers on Trigger.
He sure did.
Trigger. And once he got what he wanted, he completely flipped. Because you know what? Chuy Garcia was an alderman. You knew him. I knew him. He was a decent person. I liked him. He always seemed to stand up for what was right, speaking out against the machine and the burn, I guess, and then to be this way, it just like, wow, it's a sad turn for him that I think really casts a cloud over what people are going to remember about him. I think he's ruined his legacy. He's really hurt himself with this.
Yeah, well, I would concur with that. He's a little bit like our friend that just passed away, the man in the Senate, a flip-flopper, when it was advantageous to him.
That's true. That is true. So it is going to be interesting. I still believe that Chris Getty, and in all fairness, I do some media for him. I love the guy. I only work for people that I like. I don't work for people I don't like. I really like Chris Getty. I think that he can bring change to this district and get away from some of this politics. I've seen him, and I think he's really a principled and smart guy who can address the issues as good as or better than some of the people that we have today in politics. So I'm hopeful for him. And I still think he can win regardless of how Chuy Garcia manipulates this to eliminate the Hispanic voters.
Well, I think that you will find that there will be another Hispanic person running whose petitions will be challenged and who will be knocked off the ballot. I'm sure that Chuy Garcia would like to see his candidate one-on-one against Chris Getty because it's a heavily Hispanic district. And
66%.
Ethnic groups usually vote for themselves. I mean, I'll be the first one to say to you that people often voted for me because my name ended in SKI, okay? They were Polish. They liked the fact I was Polish. They voted for me. In fact, they used to vote for all the SKIs, all the WICZs. Now we vote for all the rest of the Democrats.
Yeah, well, I always admired you because you were always open and honest when I was a reporter at Chicago City Hall, and you were always straightforward when you can publicly speak about something and when you couldn't publicly speak about something. You always addressed the issues. You were always honest. You were always accurate. I never got flip-flop like I did with Rich Daley when he told me he was going to run for clerk of the circuit court, and then at the press conference announced he was going to run for the state's attorney's office and use me. That really bothered me. But yes, I think, though, that the one factor that Chuy Garcia is really not thinking about is it is a 66% Hispanic district, but Hispanics have the lowest voter turnout of anybody. And in today's atmosphere, with all that focus on illegal immigrants, a lot of Hispanics are not going to vote because it's their families that mean more. And I think the very successful Hispanic families really don't want to be around that type of radicalism that Jesus Garcia has always championed. And I think that they want a mainstream elected official who's going to make property taxes, the security of their families and their homes, the priority. And I think that's what Getty's going to do. And I hope he manages to keep that focus on that.
I think that's very true. Excuse me. And I remember when I was still in Congress, we had the situation on, amnesty for people who came here illegally. And so many of the people who were opposed to that were people of Mexican, Spanish heritage who had come here legally, built a life here. They were very unhappy that all these illegals were coming in here and making people look, at them. Are you legal? Are you really an American citizen? So I think that could be utilized in the campaign by Chris Getty. I think that would give him a better shot, but we'll see.
All right, Bill. Any other topics, any other thoughts coming up? I'm sure we're going to be talking about President Trump's comments about the stolen election. I mean, when he dominates TV, how do we avoid that, right?
You can't.
You can't. So, all right, I'm Ray Hanania.
I'm Bill Lipinski, and this is Two Guys on Politics, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hey, Michigan, let's think beyond the sink and learn where the water your family drinks every day comes from. Private wells and public water supplies allow homes across Michigan to draw water from different sources, like lakes, rivers, and groundwater. Tap into the facts about your home's water source and learn about your home's water quality to protect your family's health. Visit michigan.gov/care for MI drinking water. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Arab Center Washington, D.C. was established in 2015 to serve as a Washington-based authoritative research center on the Arab world and U.S. policies in the region. My name is Khalil Jahshan, and I'm the Executive Director of Arab Center, Washington, D.C.
I am Tamara Kharoub. I'm the Deputy Executive Director and Senior Fellow here. Our mission at Arab Center, Washington, D.C. has been to provide Arab perspectives to U.S. policy conversations and to highlight rights-centered approaches to policymaking as a way to serve the causes of human rights, democracy, just and peaceful resolution to conflict, and constructive long-term U.S. interest in the region.
Our work also addresses fundamental aspects of U.S.-Arab relations through timely and objective academic research, policy analysis, and educational exchange, reaching millions of people here in the United States and around the world.
Since our inception, we invested in producing reliable, evidence-based, and inclusive analysis on important issues shaping the Middle East and North Africa.
We would like to invite you personally to check out our publications and events at arabcenterdc.org.
And please follow our social media platforms for timely responses to news, events, and current affairs.
arabcenterdc.org.
When the aroma of Mahmoud Saleh Basmati fills the air, you know it's going to be a good meal. Extra long pearly white grains that cook up fluffy, separate, and light. Never heavy, never sticky, just pure, fragrant perfection. It's the rice that feels as good as it tastes, gentle on the stomach and full of energy. Elevate your everyday. Ask for Mahmoud Basmati at your supermarket and taste the difference.
A car accident can change your life in an instant. As a result of a car accident, you may become unemployed. As a result of a car accident, you may need a lot of medical treatment. People think that insurance companies are on their side. Why? Because they're giving them one or two benefits. Are they giving them all the benefits they deserve? How would one know unless you consult with an attorney? Call the law offices of Jumana Kiruz at 248-557-3645. 248-557-3645.
The U.S. Arab Radio Network is the largest Arab and Muslim radio network in America, broadcasting throughout the Midwest region Monday through Friday on WNZK AM 690. U.S. Arab Radio features Arabic and English language programming on every topic, from health, food, and culture to government, politics, and legal issues. Listen live to U.S. Arab Radio in Michigan, Toledo, Ohio, and Windsor, Canada on WNZK AM 690. And in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia on WDMV 700 AM. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. So join us every day on the U.S. Arab Radio Network and check out our website at www.arabradio.us.